Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are opening up a file that is honestly equal parts steam and just massive secret.
Oh yeah, second chances. Lots of second chances.
Right, exactly. We are looking at a story that really asks the question of whether you can ever truly go back to the beginning. We're talking about Stripped Love by Chelsea Mcdonald. And let me tell you, the drama in this one starts at 100 miles an hour and it just does not let up.
It really doesn't. It's actually a fascinating case study in how past trauma sort of informs our present decisions. I mean, we're looking at two people, Melody O'Connor and Callum Wright, who are essentially haunting each other.
Yeah, haunting is the perfect word for it.
Right, because they are drawn back together by this intense physical chemistry, but they're kept apart by these life-altering secrets.
Oh, massive secrets. We are going to get deep into the weeds on that. But first, I think we have to set the scene with their origin story, because it is just the classic rom-com meet cute, but with a total disaster twist.
A complete disaster.
So for everyone listening, picture this. It's 6 years ago. You're on a subway train. It's crowded. It's loud. The air is stale. You know, that specific, terrible subway humidity.
Oh, I know it well. The worst.
Right. And amidst all that grit, you see a guy.
Not just a guy, though. A specimen.
Exactly. A Greek god of a man. And you decide, in your infinite wisdom, to try and jump onto this moving train while wearing stilettos.
Which, let's be honest, is a high-risk activity in the best of times. I mean, physics is just not on your side there.
Physics was definitely not on Melody's side. She does not stick the landing at all. She trips, she flails, and she spills an entire iced latte all over herself.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's cold, it's sticky, she bumps her head, and she literally crashes into the seat right next to this gorgeous man. I mean, it is the absolute definition of a public humiliation.
It really is. And this is where we actually get our first real insight into Callum's character. Because think about it, most people in a city commute would just shift away.
Oh, for sure. You'd look at your phone to avoid the awkwardness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what does he do? He doesn't laugh. He doesn't cringe. He just lowers his newspaper and hands her a pocket square.
A pocket square. I mean, who even carries a pocket square anymore? It's such a specific detail.
It is. It signals a kind of old school chivalry, right? It's this moment of vulnerability meeting protection. And that really sets the tone for their entire initial relationship. It wasn't a slow burn at all. It was an explosion.
Yeah, Melody actually describes it as being consumed by him. She calls it body on fire lust.
Right. They fell in love fast and they fell hard. It was total whirlwind energy.
But as with a lot of those whirlwind romances, the foundation wasn't quite fully cured before the weight of the real world just landed on it. Because while they were having this intense connection, there was a pretty big lie sitting right in the middle of it.
Yeah. And the crack in that foundation was Melody's job. She was a stripper.
Yeah.
And she hid it from him completely.
Which we really have to unpack why she hid it. Because it wasn't malicious. She was just afraid of judgment. She was afraid that this Greek god baseball player would see her differently if he knew.
And unfortunately for her, that fear was totally validated. When he found out, and remember this is 6 years ago, he didn't handle it well.
Not at all.
He felt lied to, which he was. But his reaction was incredibly harsh. He felt betrayed by the omission, and perhaps there was some judgment there regarding the profession itself too. He just walked away.
And that abandonment is really the core wound that drives everything happening in the present timeline for you guys listening. Melody felt judged for who she was and what she did to survive.
Right.
And Callum felt betrayed by the lack of trust. So when we pick up the story 6 years later, we aren't just dealing with ex-lovers who drifted apart. We are dealing with two people who have built these massive emotional fortresses to protect themselves from that specific pain happening again.
Exactly. They aren't just exes, they are scar tissue to each other.
Oh, I love that phrase, scar tissue. So let's fast forward those 6 years. The landscape has changed completely. Melody is no longer just a dancer scraping by. She is the boss.
A total boss.
She owns the club with a Melody. She took her inheritance, she bought the place, and she turned it into this incredibly safe haven.
And that transformation is so key to her character arc. She didn't run away from her past. She took ownership of it. She's turned this club into a sanctuary. She has these strict policies like no touching, and she is fiercely protective of her girls.
Yeah, she calls her dancers the diamonds, and she treats them like actual family. She has really leveled up from being a survivor to being a matriarch.
She definitely has. She's moved from a place of survival to a place of authority. But there is a massive complication in her life that Callum knows absolutely nothing about. And when I say massive, I mean totally life-altering.
Life-altering is an understatement. She is a single mother to 6-year-old twin girls, Ava and Hallie.
And just to be crystal clear for anyone tuning in, Callum is the father.
Spoiler alert. But yes, the math checks out perfectly. 6 years ago, big breakup, 6-year-old twins.
Precisely. And he has absolutely no idea they exist. This is the central tension of the entire deep dive today. Melody has created this tight little bubble of stability for herself and her daughters.
Right.
Bringing Callum back in doesn't just risk her own heart. It risks the entire stability of her children's lives. She's terrified that he will come in, disrupt their world, and then leave again, or worse, try to take them away.
And speaking of Callum, let's look at his life 6 years later. Because on paper, he's super successful. He's a pro baseball player for the Detroit Aces. But he's not exactly living the dream.
No, he's not.
He's 35 now?
No.
Which in the regular world, that's young. In the sports world, though.
It's geriatric. He's practically ancient. He's looking at these 20-something rookies who are playing video games and doing TikToks in the locker room, and he feels completely disconnected. He's really facing his own professional mortality.
And his personal life. A total dumpster fire.
It really is. He is in the middle of a very messy, very drawn-out divorce from a woman named Cheryl. She's stalling, she's playing games, calling him when she's drunk. He is just done.
So done.
He's lonely, he's frustrated, and he's searching for something real. And that search, that nostalgia for a time when he actually felt something, is what leads him back to the scene of the crime, so to speak. He finds himself drawn back to the club.
So that is our stage. You have Melody, the protective mother bear and business owner, sitting on a massive secret. And you have Callum, the aging athlete, looking for a connection he lost 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And they are both circling each other in this neon-lit club. So let's unpack section 1. The physics of attraction. Because, wow, the pull between these two is magnetic.
It completely defies logic. Callum knows he shouldn't be there. He even describes it as a stealth mission.
The stealth mission.
Right. He's literally lurking in the shadows, drinking a Coke, just trying to catch a glimpse of her.
Right.
He calls himself James Bond in his own head, which is hilarious because he's a 6-foot-something professional athlete. He's not exactly blending into the wallpaper.
I just love that image. He's sitting there brooding, drinking a soda, watching her work. It's almost predatory, but in that romance novel way where it actually signifies devotion.
Yeah, it's a trope for sure.
And Melody knows he's there. She feels it. She says she feels eyes on her. It's that primal awareness. She's terrified, but she's interested.
Well, it's the physiological response to trauma and desire mixed together. Her body remembers him before her brain can catch up to say, danger, it's pure conditioning. For 6 years, she shut down that part of herself. She's just been mom and boss. Suddenly, with him watching, she's Melody again.
And this tension finally snaps in the supply closet scene. This is a huge, crucial moment in the narrative.
The supply closet.
Yeah.
The classic trope. But it works here because it's stripped of all glamour. It's just the utility space.
Talk about high stakes in a small space. Callum follows her into this back hallway. He corners her. And the first thing he says isn't, I'm sorry, or we need to talk. He asks, have you missed me?
That line is so telling. It's arrogant. Absolutely, but it's also deeply vulnerable. He needs to know if the connection is still there. He needs validation that he wasn't the only one suffering for 6 years.
Yeah, he needs her to be as messed up over it as he is.
Exactly. And the answer is physically obvious. I mean, the door doesn't even have a lock. It's this illicit, dangerous moment. He presses her against the door, and the verbal sparring immediately gives way to physical action. Melody tries to resist. She tries to be the boss. But the moment he touches her, that 6-year drought just evaporates.
It gets steamy very quickly. There's a clipboard involved, which safety hazard, but we'll allow it. There's a lack of a lock on the door. It is chaotic. And just when you think they're going to go all the way right there next to the cleaning supplies, one of the employees walks in.
Which is the classic interruption, but it serves a real narrative purpose here. It breaks the spell. It reminds Melody of where she is. This is her place of business where she is the responsible owner. She can't be hooking up with an ex next to the mop buckets.
No, definitely not.
So it forces them apart physically, but emotionally, the damage is done. The seal is broken. They both know now that the attraction hasn't faded. If anything, the abstinence has made it incredibly volatile.
And Callum, cheeky as ever, writes his number on the clipboard before he leaves. Just a smooth move.
Very smooth. He's planting the seed. He knows she won't be able to resist forever.
But Melody doesn't call him right away. She has resolve. It takes a little peer pressure to break that down. We have to talk about the alleyway incident because this is where Melody's resolve really just crumbles completely.
Context is key here. Melody is out on a girls' night out with her sister Naomi and their friends at a different club called Affinity. Now, Naomi is a very interesting character. She's the cool aunt, but she's also a romantic. She secretly wants Melody and Callum back together. She's pushing the margarita mix and the tequila, and she's trying to get Melody to loosen up.
Naomi is really the catalyst here. She's watching her sister live this very controlled, rigid life, and she just wants to see her break out of it.
Plus, there's a deeper layer with Naomi. We learn that she and her husband Blake are struggling with fertility issues. She desperately wants children. So watching her sister raise 2 kids without their father, it frustrates her on a very deep level.
Well, absolutely.
She wants the fairy tale from Melody because she can't quite reach it for herself yet. So she's pushing the alcohol and she's pushing the agenda, just telling her to call him.
And it works. Melody finds that scrap of paper with his number in her purse, which, by the way, she kept it. That's the tell right there. If she was truly over him, that paper would be in the trash. But it's in her purse. And in a moment of tequila-fueled weakness, she calls him.
And Callum. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't play games at all. He shows up at the club immediately. And this is where it gets raw. They don't go to dinner. They don't go to a hotel. They go straight to the alley behind the club.
It's feral.
It is. This scene is fascinating to analyze because it's not romantic in the traditional flowers and chocolate sense. It's desperate. Melody describes herself as Alice and him as the White Rabbit, implying she's falling down a hole into madness.
Wow, yeah.
She feels pathetic for giving in so easily, saying she was begging for it, but simultaneously she feels empowered by her own desire. It's a reclaiming of her sexuality after a year of celibacy.
There's a line where she talks about the ungodly love stick. I mean, I laughed out loud when I read that.
It's a very memorable description, but it really highlights that she's acting on I'd not ego. She's not thinking about the twins or the lies or the past. She's just thinking about that physical connection. It's impulsive. It's Melody taking what she wants for once consequences be damned.
But the consequences are waiting right around the corner, because while they are reconnecting physically in alleys and closets, they haven't actually talked about anything. The secrets are still right there.
Exactly. And that leads us directly into section 2, the conflict of secrets.
Yeah.
Because the elephant in the room, or rather the 2 elephants, are Ava and Hallie.
Let's talk about the twins. They are 6 years old. Ava is the extrovert, always asking about her daddy. Hallie is the introvert, Melody's baby. And the kicker is Melody constantly notes that they look just like Callum.
Which adds this layer of visual irony and constant anxiety for Melody. Every time she looks at her children, she sees the man she's hiding them from. Her justification for hiding them is complex. We really have to empathize with her position to understand it. Initially, 6 years ago, she hid the pregnancy because they had just broken up.
Right.
She was heartbroken.
Right.
He was angry. And she feared his lifestyle as a pro athlete wouldn't be conducive to raising kids.
Yeah, she thought she was protecting them. She thought, he doesn't want me. He hated that I lied. He's traveling all the time. He won't want this.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But now, 6 years later, that justification is wearing pretty thin. Now it's about inertia. She's protecting their bubble. She has a routine. Her mom helps out. Naomi is there. It's a stable ecosystem. Bringing in a famous baseball player father who travels all the time, that disrupts everything. It introduces chaos into a system that relies entirely on order.
It's the fear of the unknown. Melody is a control freak in many ways, and she has to be running a business and raising twins alone. Callum represents total unpredictability, but the pressure is mounting. Naomi is really pushing her. She's the voice on her shoulder, saying you can't keep this secret forever.
Naomi's perspective is crucial here. She loves her nieces, but she's also the voice of morality. She's telling Melody it's not just about you and Callum. The girls have a right to know their father. And then you have Kathy, the mom.
Kathy. I loved her. She's the rock of the family. You'd expect the mom to be fiercely protective and say, stay away from the guy who broke your heart. But Kathy actually likes Callum.
She does. She's basically Team Callum. She sees the big picture. She sees 2 people who are miserable apart. She encourages Melody to just hear him out. She even facilitates communication later on by delivering flowers and messages.
She's a matchmaker.
Yes, she is. So Melody is getting squeezed from all sides. Her body wants him. Her family wants her to tell the truth, but her fear is keeping her mouth shut.
And that silence is dangerous. Because while they are reconnecting physically, the emotional trust is being built on a foundation of sand. This brings us to section 3, where the lack of communication leads to a massive blow-up.
The apartment night. So after a shift at the club, things are heating up again. They go back to Callum's apartment. This is a big step. It's not a supply closet. It's not an alleyway. It's his home.
It signifies a shift toward intimacy, not just sex. They are entering each other's personal spaces. And in this scene, Melody shows a rare moment of vulnerability. She admits she hasn't been with anyone in over a year.
Which is huge for her to admit.
Right.
And Callum is surprised but pleased. It strokes his ego, sure, but it also reassures him that she hasn't just moved on and forgotten him. It makes him feel special.
But then the accident. In the heat of the moment, they have unprotected sex. And afterward, Melody realizes she's off the pill. Panic sets in.
This is a pivotal moment because it forces them to confront the reality of their actions. It's not just fun and games. There are biological consequences. And considering they already have secret twins, the irony is incredibly thick here.
So thick.
But Callum handles it surprisingly well. He's reassuring. They have this moment of just holding each other, which is arguably more intimate than the sex itself.
Yeah.
Feels like they're finally landing in a safe place.
Until the morning after. And oh boy, does the other shoe drop. Melody wakes up. Callum is still asleep.
Yeah.
And the landline rings.
The landline. A relic of the past delivering a message from the past.
Exactly. The answering machine picks up. And who leaves a voicemail? Cheryl, Callum's wife.
The other woman, troped but flipped on its head. Cheryl sounds very familiar. She says, "Hey, babe." She mentions divorce papers, but she also implies she wants to work things out. To Melody's ears, this sounds like a current active relationship.
Melody spirals instantly. She hears wife and babe, and her moral compass just explodes. She hates cheaters. She thinks she has unknowingly become the mistress.
And we have to look at this through the lens of her trauma. Her immediate response is flight. She doesn't wake him up to ask, what's the deal with this voicemail? She doesn't wait for an explanation. She flees. She assumes the worst because deep down she expects to be hurt by him. It perfectly mirrors their breakup 6 years ago, a lack of trust leading to a total severance.
She runs out of there so fast. She basically leaves her dignity at the door. She goes straight to her mom's house, interrupts breakfast, and drops the bomb saying he's married. And the family is just shocked.
It's a tragic misunderstanding. Callum is technically married, yes, but he is in the middle of a contentious divorce. Cheryl is stalling, she's drunk dialing him, he is functionally single and emotionally divorced, but Melody doesn't know that because they haven't had the real talk yet. They've been too busy in supply closets to actually communicate.
So Melody ghosts him. 3 days of total silence. She blocks him, her staff blocks him. The bouncer at the club, Flank, who is this absolute tank of a man, basically tells Callum to get lost.
Flank is the MVP of loyalty. But Callum is persistent. And this is where we see his growth. He doesn't just get angry and walk away like he did 6 years ago. He fights for it. He realizes something is wrong. And he goes to the source of power. Kathy, Melody's mom.
The mom intervention, I love that he knows where she lives and just shows up with flowers. He pleads his case to Kathy, and Kathy, being the wise matriarch, basically tells Melody, look, he's here, he's trying. You need to at least listen to him.
It's the push Melody needs. She agrees to see him. And this leads to the supply closet, round 2. He corners her at the club again.
He's got a thing for that closet. It's their neutral ground, or their battleground.
It creates nice symmetry. The first time was about lust. This time is about truth. Melody accuses him of being married. She throws it right in his face. And Callum finally gets the chance to explain. He tells her the truth. Yes, there are papers, but it's over. He is single. He is ready to mingle, as he jokes.
And he asks for a do-over, a real date. Not a hookup, not a secret meeting, a legitimate public date.
This is significant. He's trying to legitimize their relationship. He wants to move them out of the shadows. But you, as the listener, are just screaming at this point because while he is clearing the air about his secret with the divorce, Melody is still holding on to the nuclear secret of the twins.
It's agonizing. They are agreeing to start over, but they are starting over on a massive lie. So let's go to section 5, dating in the present. Date night number 1 takes place at the Bamboo Garden,
a Chinese restaurant in the suburbs. This is where they had their first date 6 years ago. It's soaked in nostalgia. They order the exact same food, egg foo young for her, General Sones for him. They talk about the owner, Dan, who is a father figure to Callum.
It's sweet. It shows that the foundation of friendship is actually still there. But then Callum does something unexpected. He apologizes. He admits he was wrong to walk away all those years ago. He admits his pride got in the way. It's a beautiful moment of accountability.
It really is. It's rare for a character to own their past mistakes so fully. And it opens the door wide for Melody. This is the moment. The table is clear. The air is soft. He's apologizing. She almost tells him. She thinks about it. She says, I should have trusted you. But she stopped short of the actual confession.
Why? Why does she stop? It's the absolute perfect moment.
Fear. Pure, unadulterated fear.
Yeah.
If she tells him now, she blows up the date. She blows up the tentative peace they've found. She's enjoying being Melody, the girlfriend, for a night. She hasn't felt that in years. She doesn't want to swap that feeling for Melody, the mother who hid your children for 6 years. She chooses the immediate pleasure over the necessary pain.
It's so human, but it's incredibly frustrating. So they survive date 1, then we get date 2, the movies, and this one highlights the difference in their lifestyles so clearly.
The logistics alone are a nightmare for Melody. She has to lie to her family about where she's going. She invents a coworker friend named Carla just to avoid questions about the twins. She's lying to everyone now.
And then the car ride. Callum picks her up in this flashy 2-seater sports car.
And Melody is sitting there thinking about her own car. A Range Rover filled with booster seats, crumbs, sticky wrappers, and wet wipes. It's such a visual clash. His car says freedom, bachelorhood, speed. Her car says responsibility, motherhood, chaos.
Exactly. They go see a movie, Abominable, which they both agree is terrible. Then they go for ice cream, even though it's freezing outside. That's playful. But then Callum gets vulnerable again. He admits he's thinking of retiring.
This was a surprise. He's 35. He feels old. He feels disconnected from his teammates. He tells her he's looking for something more substantial in his life. He's signaling that he's ready for a next chapter. He's ready to settle down.
He's basically saying, I'm ready for a family without knowing a family is already waiting for him.
Exactly. He's unconsciously preparing a space in his life that could be filled by the twins. He's telling Melody, I'm ready for more. And Melody is hearing this, knowing she has exactly what he's looking for, but she's keeping it locked away.
It's the ultimate dramatic irony. They are getting closer and closer emotionally. The chemistry is shifting from just lust to actual affection and partnership. But that secret is just ticking away in the background like a time bomb.
And that brings us to the crux of the situation. As we wrap up this analysis, we have to look at the themes here. This isn't just a romance. It's a profound story about identity and trust.
Right. Melody is struggling to reconcile stripper and club owner with mother and girlfriend. She's wearing all these different hats and trying to keep them from falling off.
And Callum is trying to reconcile pro athlete with aging man and partner. They are both in transition. But the theme of trust is where the real tragedy lies. Callum thinks they're building trust. He's opening up, he's apologizing, he's being consistent. But Melody is building a house of cards. Every day she doesn't tell him about Ava, and Hallie is another brick in that wall of betrayal.
It brings us to the final provocative thought for you, our listeners today. Callum walked away 6 years ago because Melody lied about her job, a lie she told to protect herself from judgment. It was a lie of omission.
Now she is hiding 2 human beings, his flesh and blood. She's robbing him of their childhoods day by day. When the truth comes out, and it always does in these stories, the betrayal is exponentially larger than the first one.
The real question you have to ask yourself is, will the second chance survive a betrayal that is infinitely bigger than the one that killed the relationship the first time? Is Melody actually protecting her children, or is she really just protecting herself from the fallout?
That is the big question. And I think deep down, Melody knows the answer, and that is what terrifies her the most.
A terrifying thought to leave on. We will have to see how this house of cards eventually falls. That is all for today's deep dive into stripped love. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the secrets we keep to protect our bubble are the very needles that pop it. Catch you next time.
Stay curious, everyone.